Welcome back to Leeds Lately. Leeds have just won 3-0 at home at Elland Road against Wayne Rooney's Birmingham City. It was kind of expected that they wouldn't be very good. They had about one shot on target, which Klaassen got down well to. Actually, do you know what we can do? I've not done this before, but this is a thing I have in my stream. This was the lineup for the game. So obviously Klaassen going in goal. Bamford was the other one. I was trying to think who else was different there. Bamford comes back in. And Bamford scored a really good goal. The thing I thought was good about Dan James, I know this does lead onto Bamford, but in this game, Dan James was willing to get his head up and get the ball in the box. And when we scored the goal through Bamford looked around him, took himself round to the back post, got in a position where he could win the header. And then when Dan James whips the ball into the box, Bamford's just there at the back post to flick it in the top corner. So it's a really good goal. And I think Dan James is something that he brings, really, Dan James, is that ability to just get your head up, cross the ball into the box. The other thing I want to talk about with Dan James is he's added something to his game, and I really, really appreciate it. A lot of the time, a winger will try to go down the line or kind of, when they look up, they're only going one way. They're only going on a certain foot. So if Dan James is right-footed, it would usually track that he would only ever try to cross the ball with his right foot. But what he's taken to doing and adding to his game is looking like he's going to do that and then cutting back inside and crossing it with his left foot. And his left foot delivery is actually really, really good. So I appreciate that he's been doing that and adding something new to his game, because it gives the defender something extra to think about when they're playing against him. Is he going to go down the line and cross it in, or is he going to cut back inside and cross it into the back post? And usually it means that Dan James gets his crosses away. So I think that's something that's really good. I thought Bamford was pretty good in general. Had that other shot where he hit the bottom of the post and it bounced away from the goal. I thought he was good in this game. I don't think he was the best striking performance ever. And also, let's just, before we go any further, not get carried away with Leeds winning 3-0, because Birmingham City really aren't a very good side. I think they've got some quality in there. Let's not discount that. I think if they had a competent manager, which they did until they sacked him, they'd be doing decent, because Longello, I think, is a decent player. Sanderson is a decent player. Dembele is more than decent. Bacuna is decent. I think they've got some good players, some good quality spine in there, which would make a half-decent championship side pushing for playoffs. But I think because they've signed Wayne Rooney as the manager, they're going to really struggle because he's not very good. Having said that, let's talk about Leeds, because Leeds won 3-0. Junior Firpo has to come on for Sam Byram, because Sam Byram got injured, which for me is another sign we need to buy a left back in January. There will be some videos on the channel at some point this month about fullbacks and signing number 10 and the fullback and the January transfer window in general. I think we need a left back, because even though Firpo actually came on and had a really, really good game, he was good playing out from the back. He was decent positionally. He got himself 2 assists. The first one, he was on the byline. He cut the ball back across to Dan James. Dan James finished it. It came off a deflection, but Dan James scored. And then Firpo obviously got the second one where he got to the byline, cut it back across to Somerville, and Somerville just got his shoulder out and curled it round the defender into the bottom corner and placed it nicely. I think he had a really good game, Firpo. But there's a few caveats. One, it's against Birmingham City, who really aren't a very good side. Number 2, even if he consistently keeps up that performance, which was really, really good, there's no guarantee that he stays fit. So even if you're accepting that Junior Firpo is an option, I think we still need another left back, because ours aren't fit. Ours don't stay fit. So you need a left back with a good injury record, which is something you actually need to take into account when you're buying these players. So I think we still need a left back, but I do think Firpo had a really, really good game. Leeds in general, they were a little bit more positive, and I think maybe that was just because Birmingham aren't as good of a side as what a team like West Brom are. But when we had the ball at the back and we played it into midfield, there was a lot less giving it to the midfielder, then giving it straight back to the defender, and then playing it across the half line. I mean, Just described it to me as Yapstam's Reading football is what we saw a bit against West Brom, where you're on the halfway line and you're playing pointless passes across to each other without really having any penetration. And so you have loads of possession, and statistically it looks like you're doing really well. But actually, you're just kind of having pointless possession on the halfway line, if you get me. So I think that improved massively, and I know it's because it's against a worse opposition, but it is a promising sign that when we were giving it to the midfields, when we were giving it to Kamara and Ampadu, they were willing to turn, roll the shoulder, and then go into the midfield and look for passes. Or Firpo would come inside, or actually Gray would come inside and then go outside and overlap, and they would just provide options for us actually to try and play through the midfield and play through the lines of their team. So I think that improved massively. I think there was a little bit more in the way of being able to create chances as well, and I think that came because Jorginho was played in the number 10 role. I think because he was played in the number 10 role, that obviously meant that Bamford had to play up front. I think if Jules Piroud had longer on the pitch, i.e. maybe started in games when Jorginho is in that number 10 role, I think we need to see that to see whether it works or not. But I certainly think that Bamford did a good job of playing that number 9 role and occupying the two defenders, even if doing nothing else, because it allowed Jorginho to get on the ball and turn and have time to start running at defenders. So I thought all in all, it was a good performance. It's a good start to the year. It's a good stepping stone back to the form that we want to be in. And we did it with a second string side. Chris Klaesen. I want to talk about Chris Klaesen as well. Karl Darlow obviously was injured. He's dislocated his thumb, so couldn't play in this game. And so Chris Klaesen comes in because Meslier is on a 3-match ban because of the red card against Preston, which he has now served, so is eligible next time we play in the Championship. Klaesen, I think, had a really good game. I was impressed with the way he played out from the back. There was moments where I went, oh, that's his weak foot. That's not going to be very good. It went straight to Archie Gray in the right back position. I think his distribution was good. I think he made a couple of good saves, and I think he was fairly confident. I couldn't believe that it was his full debut, given that he played that most of that game against Wolves. I felt sure that he would have played another game, really, but that was his full debut, and I think he did really well. Chris Klaesen coming in, a good bit of experience for him. I think it won't happen very often, because if Meslier is fit, he's in goal, and if Meslier is not fit and Darlow is fit, it's Darlow. So I think it was kind of like a perfect storm for Klaasen's career that he got this start, and I think he's played very well, but I don't think we'll see much more of him. But I was impressed with him. I was happy with his performance. I think Cooper was decent. There was one or two Cooperisms where he came flying out and missed the ball and stuff. But other than that, I think he was quite good. He was quite calm. I think Joe Rodon again was fantastic. Some of the recovery runs he made coming back into the box. Yes, maybe Dembele took a heavy touch on that one, but the other ones where he just came across, took the ball and went down the line and just like completely swept us out of danger and just cradled us in his arms and said, no, it's all right. It's safe. It's okay. It's all right. Well, I've got the ball now. And it really made you go, okay, all right, well, calm now. That's fine. Joe Rodon's got it. It's all under control. It's all under control. But yeah, in general, I thought we played well. I think it's a good start to 2024. Hopefully we go and beat Peterborough in the FA Cup and then move on to Cardiff and beat them and just get on a little bit of a roll. I think some other results went in our favour today as well, so I'm happy with that. All in all, I'm happy. Yeah, it's been a good day. Happy New Year to everyone as well, which I mentioned on the Christmas episode. I said Merry Christmas to everyone, so on the New Year one, I'll do that as well. Happy New Year to everyone. Many happy returns. I hope you're all well. Hope all your families are well. All the best for the new year. Get subscribed. Stay subscribed. There's so much more content to come from Leeds Lately this year. We're only going to get bigger and better. And hopefully we're going to hit 10k this year. Thanks so much for watching. And I'll see you next time on Leeds Lately. Come on, Leeds.